Dive right in. Let's start talking about the taper tantrum. And we're going to start with a little myth busting on this because there's a lot of lore around the 2013 taper tantrum, and most of it's really misleading. So let's just start with a couple of basic facts about the 2013 taper tantrum. First of all, it was not because the Fed started to cut its bond purchases, which it has started to make in 2010 and 2011. It was not because of that. The bond purchases actually started to be reduced in 2014, not 2013. The 2013 taper tantrum was 100% due to Chairman Bernanke's very off the cuff and frankly ill considered comments at a May 22nd congressional hearing on the question of when the Federal Reserve was going to start reducing its bond purchases. And he basically off the cuff said, it could happen over the next few meetings if the economy continues to improve. And that was the first time anybody had heard a real timeline about when the Federal Reserve was going to start tapering. And that really set markets off. If you look at a long-term chart of the 10-year, you'll see it broke 2% literally on May 22nd, 2013, when Bernanke said that, and went right to 3% in September. That was the tantrum. It wasn't that the Fed was cutting its bond purchases. It was that they didn't communicate particularly effectively or consistently when they would start and what the guidelines were going to be for how much they would do, why they would do it, and so forth. And the Fed tried to damage control this over the balance of 2013, and it just didn't work. And by the end of 2013, after a little pullback, yields were back at 3%. So you saw a 100 basis point move off the bottom in about 6 months, purely because the Fed chair did not communicate well. Just keep that in mind when you read about taper tantrums. It wasn't really caused by bond purchase reductions. It was caused by miscommunication. And that's why Powell is so circumspect on this topic right now. I mean, he sounds like a diplomat whenever he discusses tapering because he understands this 2013 history extremely well. He understands that it was basically a misstatement by the Fed chair that created the tantrum. And it was a communication failure, not really a policy failure. So that's why Powell is so cautious on the topic of tapering. And I think I'm certainly convinced that we're going to hear about tapering, basically at every time there's a Fed speaker for the next 3 months, but they're going to ease the market into this concept